Hello and welcome to the Holy Oils class. I am going to be sharing today about well, not all, but some of the amazing oils that were used in ancient times and how we can use them today. And we're going to talk about their uses and all the things that we can do with these incredible oils. So let's get right into it. So first off, who am I? I'm Stephanie Keenan Ray. I am a holistic esthetician and an essential oil educator for doTERRA. I basically embrace holistic living, healing, wellness in all aspects of my life. I've been in pursuit of wellness since I was a small child. I wanted to run off to chiropractic school when I was in sixth grade. And instead, since I couldn't do that, I taught myself reflexology and I just kept growing my knowledge from there. So I have been learning things and pursuing things since I was a child. And as I got older, I would integrate all of it together. Most recently, when I took a aesthetics job in a spa room here in Worcester, I finally could really embrace everything and utilize everything. For the longest time, I just called myself a Renaissance woman who knew a lot of things a little bit. And now I feel like it really all makes sense. And so what I love to do is share my knowledge with people. I do virtual skin and wellness consultations and coaching. And I educate on the essential oils once a month at least. I try to host an oil class of some topic. And you can find a lot of those recordings on my YouTube page. So there's a lot of ways to interact with me, get to know me, and my link tree right there is probably one of the best ways to find all the things about what I do. So diving right into it, the history of essential oils. Now, this is a very smushed timeline because it goes so far, but really ancient Egypt is one of the first civilizations that we truly know used essential oils. It's where we have the first recordings, like documents, real documents of how they used oils. There is a document from 1553 BC from ancient Egypt that explains how they used essential oils such as frankincense as medicine. But they also became masters of using it in the art of perfumery. Many of us know, the stories of Cleopatra and her, luscious baths and oils that she would apply to be fragrant and beautiful. But it was commonplace. Commoners used essential oils both for skincare, for perfume, but also for health and wellness. And this spans in all cultures. Basically, different cultures would use the plants that were around them, and they would integrate them in their health, their wellness, as well as their religious ceremony. In China, ancient China, there's a document from, yeah, 2500 BC that talks about 300 different plants that they used for medicine. And they really believed in aromatherapy as well. The Greeks and the Romans, that they're kind of amazing. They used these plants for everything. They used them to clean their cloths, their clothing, their bedding. They actually had some in the Romans carried certain oils and herbs in pouches as soldiers. So if they got a wound like helichrysum, they would use to stop bleeding. That is one of the things about helichrysum that's kind of amazing. It helps stop bleeding. So they would have the little pouches of these oils and herbs to treat themselves when they got hurt on the battlefield, which is kind of amazing. But the Greeks also hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Oh my God. Yes. So he writes about how they used they used the oils for aromatic essences to fumigate, um, to keep plagues away. So all the way going back to ancient Greece, they were using oils for cleansing the air, for keeping people healthy, for medicine. It's just kind of amazing. When we look at the Israel and biblical times, um, the Bible alone references essential oils 500 times, and in 36 of the 39 books of the Old Testament, which is also the Torah, um, they are referenced, and in 10 of the 27 of the New Testament, they are referenced. So it's kind of amazing. Like, it really is part of ancient life, using essential oils as part of what we do. Um, First steam distillation happened in Persia in 1000 AD. That's incredible. So, probably before, the ancient oils, that they used in ancient times were extracted in a solution. Okay. And nowadays, a lot of times we use the steam distillation because it's a little bit more delicate. But there are certain plants that we have to still use a solution to extract the aroma, because it is so delicate. So we'll actually talk about that later. And then it's interesting that it wasn't until 1937 that the term aromatherapy was actually dubbed. And it was dubbed by Rene Maurice Gattefossé. And he really wrote a ton of books about aromatherapy and how we can use them for healthcare. So just amazing history that goes along with the things we'll be talking about today. And I liked this, just kind of quickly looking at the different religions and how they used oils. Basically, all of the religions used essential oils and herbs as incense and in prayer to help with meditation, prayer, and that connection with a higher being. And again, a lot of times it's whatever they had close in their area. So like the Buddhists in Tibet, they used a lot of juniper berry. They used pine and sandalwood. Now, they did get frankincense once the spice trade route was created. Frankincense blew up. I mean, everybody wanted frankincense. And it's found that once they started using the spice trade, that was one of those heavily traded spices, or it's not a spice, but it's a resin, but you know what I mean. And that went across from Asia it went from the Egypt area, Oman, to Asia. But in Hinduism, a lot of turmeric, camphor, cassia, cinnamon, ginger, cypress, jasmine, sandalwood, vetiver, all these beautiful natural plants that grow in the India area and Southeast Asia. Now, Muslims, Judaism, and Christianity, a lot of the same oils are referenced in ancient texts because they all kind of are in the same area. So we've got the frankincense, the myrrh, the hyssop, the cedar wood, neroli, rose, sweet basil, thyme, all of these different amazing oils. One thing I thought was really cool is in Christianity, they use incense as a symbol of that the prayers of the faithful are actually going up to heaven. So I thought that was an incredibly cool visualization of thinking about that. And in all the different faiths, there's many different ways that they use them. They use them to cleanse themselves. They use them to purify and anoint. A lot of anointing in all of the faiths are using the oils to anoint with, special meaning. Now, I don't know how many of you know much about essential oils, so we'll have a very quick little brief intro. So essential oils, they come from the plants. They are aromatic compounds that are extracted from all different parts of the plant. So from the leaves, the stems, the bark, the root, the flowers, and they are extracted typically, as I said, that steam distillation or cold pressed. So citrus fruits are cold pressed. There are a few essential oils like blue lotus that we will talk about later, and vanilla that are so delicate that you actually have to use a solution to basically absorb the aroma out gently. But most others, it's that steam distillation. And these aromatic compounds actually live right on the plant. So if you look off to the side of the screen where there's the picture of that peppermint leaf, and next to it has that purple thing with the white sac, that is an up close magnified look at a peppermint leaf. And that sac is the essential oil. So when you touch a peppermint leaf, you're going to get that essential oil right on your hands. You can taste it if you just chew on the plant. But when they are extracted as an essential oil that we use in a bottle, they are highly concentrated. So less is more, and they are very powerful plant medicine. They are 50 to 70 times stronger than their herbal counterparts. So like I said, they are strong. The way to think about that is like, 1 drop of peppermint oil is equal to like 50 cups of tea. So you can take a bath in your tea, or you can use 1 drop of peppermint and do amazing things. The molecular structure of essential oils are teeny, teeny, tiny, and they actually are small enough to penetrate a cell wall. So they can get into our bodies and work on a cellular level. And you only want to use 1 to 2 drops. They travel through the body within the whole body within 30 minutes, and they go where our body needs them within seconds of application. About 30 seconds of applying an essential oil to our body, it's going to get into our bloodstream, travel where it needs to go, and then it will do whatever work it needs to do. And then it will leave our bodies in about 2 hours. So there's no toxic buildup. There's nothing to worry about. You're not going to OD on your essential oils. And and they really are super powerful chemical constituents within the essential oils that bring all these healing properties that will nourish and heal on a cellular level. At the bottom of the screen, you can see that little purple circle that says cell. So that's a human cell, let's pretend. And bacteria cannot go into our cells, but viruses can. The other thing is medicines cannot go into our cells. They can get into our body and they can fight those bacteria that are not within our cells. But once a virus goes into our cells and hides, that medicine isn't really going to do anything to that virus. So sometimes a virus will lay dormant in our cells. And that's why sometimes, you take medicine, you do the full dose, you feel a little better, but then maybe it comes back and gets you, because that virus was like hiding in a cell, and then it comes out and it's like, he. But this is a beautiful thing where we can mix modern medicine with traditional medicine, and we can use essential oils in with our medicine. So you could be taking antibiotics for a cold that you have, or a infection that you have. But you could also be using some powerful essential oils that will get in on a cellular level. When a virus gets into our cells, not only does it just hide there, it damages our cell. So the essential oils can protect that cell. It can fight that virus, eradicate it perhaps, but it can also help repair any damage that that virus may have done to our cells. So, really cool tools to have in our wellness kit. And they are also full of antioxidants that protect and heal our bodies as well. So a lot of people think of oils as just pretty aromas, but actually when we just take an oil and smell it from the bottle, again, those oils are such a small molecular structure that the aromatic compounds actually go right up into my nose. Little molecules go right up into my nose. They go into my olfactory system, and then they go into my limbic system, part of my brain, which controls our memory, our emotions, our thoughts, as well as body like functions like blood pressure, heart rate, all sorts, or hormones, all sorts of different things, different responses that our body has. So within seconds of inhaling an aroma, you have a distinct physical and psychological response to it. So they're very powerful, and actually because it's literally in our bodies, even inhaling them, they get into our bloodstream, they go where they need to go. So we can use them 3 ways. We can use them aromatically, so smelling them from the bottle or diffusing them in a little diffuser that puts water in the air, and then we inhale it. You could actually, there's a lot of jewelry made nowadays that you can wear and have a little oil on it so that you could be smelling it, say from a necklace. And when we diffuse, it actually helps kill germs in the air. So it cleanses the air and purifies. It can change the mood of the room. I like to do little social experiments where I'll diffuse different things and see how my family responds to it. So like if everybody's a little grumpy, I might put a nice uplifting citrus oil in the diffuser and just walk away and see what happens in 5 minutes. And it's kind of magic. They don't even ask questions anymore. But it's amazing. Topically, we can apply it. You could apply it pretty much most places on your body. You want to avoid your eyes, inside your nose, inside your ears, because those places are very sensitive. But bottoms of the feet is a great place to put it because we have all those amazing reflexology points that connect to the different pulse points within our body, or specific points in our body. But we also have the pulse points. So those would be like our wrist, our heart, the back of the neck, our temples. Those I like to use when I'm using oils for emotional reasoning. So if I'm feeling a little stressed, I'm going to put oils on my pulse points and really inhale them. And within seconds, you will feel a shift in those emotions, like if you're like upset or something. And then you could just apply it. Say you have an aching knee, you could take a oil that helps with pain and apply it to your knee, and it's going to help support that knee, ease that pain, and it's beautiful. And then when it comes to oils, I am purely talking about doTERRA oils. They are the purest brand there is. A lot of oils are adulterated with chemical, lab created synthetic oils. So you a lot of times do not know what you're using, but doTERRA is like the highest level of pure. You can look up your oils, and on the bottom of every bottle has a number. You can go to a website called source2u.com, look up that number, and it shows the third-party testing that, verifies that it is as pure as we say it is. And in all honesty, once I learned about how impure a lot of oils are, and because there is no regulations on the industry, a bottle can still be labeled 100% pure and really be synthetic. So that's a problem because we're not going to have the same results from um, a synthetic oil. It's not going to work medicinally, emotionally, in the same way. And, it may work a little bit, but it could also make us sick because it's made of chemicals. So when I talk about using oils internally, I am only talking about doTERRA because I don't know what's in any other oils. Um, and in all honesty, I think a lot of times, a lot of companies don't know what's in their oils either. They think they're getting a pure oil. So I don't think that every company is out there trying to um, uh, harm their buyers, but if you're getting frankincense for $10, it's probably not pure. But internally, you could use your oils. And when it comes to doTERRA, there are supplement facts on the bottle if it's one that can be taken internally. Typically, it's things that we already eat, citruses, the herbs that we use for cooking, things like that. So that's how I think about it, is if it's something I would normally cook with, then I probably can use it internally. But again, only doTERRA. So I will put one drop in a glass of water or in my water bottle. They can really help with digestion. You could put a drop under your tongue. And then even some people have started using them in their cooking. So there's all sorts of different ways to use them, but they can help support our immune system and reduce inflammation in the body. There's so many ways to use them. So now we're going to dive into all these amazing oils that have great historical presence. I do want to say I always use a couple guides when I have questions or when I just need a little extra knowledge. So one of my favorite books is this Modern Essentials book. It is a fantastic book that you can look up each oil. It'll tell you some historical uses. It'll tell you how to use it presently. It'll tell you medicinal ways it can help you. And then you can even look up specific issues. So like high blood pressure. And then you can look and see what oils might actually help support the body with that. And then there's even recipes for self-care products, easy little things, all sorts of amazing stuff. There's a lot of science in here as well. So I love that book. That's always, I have like one in every room, I think, just like my diffusers. And then the other book that I referenced is this beautiful, beautiful book. This is Gifts of the Essential Oils by Adam Bartlett and Vanessa Jean Boscarello Ovens. They are two fantastic essential oil educators from Australia. This book is so beautiful. It's like a work of art to begin with, but what it does is it goes through each oil and it talks about more of the emotional and kind of on a spiritual level, but using crystals and energy work and your oils all together. So on each slide, you're going to see I have the title of the oil, and then it says a couple words. And so like this one says symbol of enlightenment, divinity, and magnificence. And then it says gift, divine masculine, and the affirmation. Those things all come from this book, because this book really looks at using it kind of on a spiritual level, using your oils on a spiritual level, an emotional level. And the thing that I found amazing in looking at each of these oils, the words, the gifts, and the affirmations, I think all highly align with the idea of those holy oils and how we use them in our spiritual life, and how they did in ancient times too. So I just think that's something to consider as we go through this whole class. And I apologize for my dog. There must be a UPS man in town. So traditionally, frankincense was used as holy incense in many religions. It was used during ceremonies. It is, when it's used as an incense, it was often a symbol of the deity that the different religions prayed to. It often was used in meditation and prayer because it really connects you. You get into a deep state of meditation and connects you with the creator. But it's also wonderful for your skin, for cellular renewal, for a perfume, and then definitely used as medicine. So we all know that Jesus was given the gifts of frankincense, myrrh, and gold. And um, and there's a reason those gifts were given to him. And it's because these were honestly, frankincense and myrrh were worth more than gold in his time. And they were used as medicine. They were used to heal, to just in everyday life. They were used in so many different ways. But it was also very expensive. So it was a valuable gift. And I thought this was interesting. This sentence, Adam and Vanessa wrote in their book, that we obtain frankincense resin from the trees when it is wounded and the tears of the resin are released, showing us that when we are vulnerable, we receive great gifts. Now, if you think about that in faith, if you think about that in using it, like when you're using this, when you're smelling your frankincense and you take a deep breath and you think about where, and it's such a, oh my God, it's like it's a deep magical aroma. I love it. That it shows us our own gifts, and it's an incredible, incredible oil. So it definitely boosts spiritual awakening and awareness. It, on a cellular level, we can use it to promote radiant, beautiful skin, because it actually helps with cellular turnover, cellular renewal, and healing and renewing of our skin. It's very calming and soothing for the skin, for the mind, for the body, for everything. Oftentimes I say that, like, whatever properties an oil has, if it's soothing and calming to your emotions, it's going to be typically soothing and calming to your skin and to your body. So it's going to be healing and soothing. It's wonderful to rub a little on your nails. It helps strengthen and helps them grow, or to your hair as well. But this is also an oil that crosses the blood-brain barrier and can oxygenate your pineal and pituitary glands. So it's one of the few that can cross the blood-brain barrier. So that means it can actually help with our cellular renewal of our brain, which is kind of amazing. Okay. It also helps, it's a very anti-inflammatory, so it helps reduce inflammation, soothes and reduces bleeding, blood pressure issues. It actually, one of the coolest uses of this is for allergies. I learned about this from a friend whose son is highly allergic to nuts, and he carries a little frankincense with him all the time. And one day she had picked up some stuff at the bakery, and he started to get a little itchy in the car, and he was kind of like, uh-oh. So he grabs his frankincense, puts a drop under his tongue, but his mom's like, okay, well, we'll get the EpiPen as soon as we get home. And like they were not even 5 minutes down the road. By the time they got home, he was like perfectly fine. He's like, I'm cool, mom. Don't worry about we don't need the EpiPen. Like, how amazing is that? So, if you get, how sometimes it's not a full blown allergy, but you just get a little itchiness in your mouth or in different spots, you could apply some frankincense and it might help ease that, that issue. So pretty cool. So yeah, it is also incredibly good for our immune system. So frankincense is a powerful, beautiful, beautiful oil. Moving on to myrrh, which is my absolute favorite oil. Frankincense is a close second, but myrrh has this magical, like, calming, soothing, like tangy amazingness to it. As you can see, it's a resin, so the bottle gets a little grimy, um, but it is a beautiful oil. Myrrh alone was mentioned 156 times in the Bible. How crazy is that? It's used as a holy incense, and it is one of the oils used in the holy anointing blend that is found in the Old Testament, the Torah. So basically, it's myrrh, cinnamon, cassia, aromatic cane, which I believe is actually lemongrass because it was called sweet cane sometimes, and olive oil. So very cool that it's one of those. And so they used it to anoint at birth, coronations, and then death. And even today, using myrrh and frankincense, like on the top of a child's head right after it's been born, can really, and applying it to like their belly, with a carrier oil, because babies, the oils are so strong, can really help kind of balance their bodies, help them, just it's really wonderful for them. And so it's kind of a nice tradition to anoint your own baby. It was used by Queen Esther for skin and for perfume. And then medicinally, it is amazing. So again, myrrh was one of those beautiful gifts, and it helped. It was used in holy times to cure leprosy, cancer, syphilis. They did a mix of myrrh with coriander and honey to treat herpes, like all sorts of crazy cool recipes and things that I found in my research. It's so amazing to find these old texts where they have these uses. Another one of my favorite stories and uses that I've heard of is that in ancient Egypt, they would take animal lard, and those pictures, the drawings where they have kind of like the cone head thing going on, it actually was animal lard that they put on their head with some myrrh, and it would melt and be their natural sunscreen. How cool is that? That's like so cool. That makes me so excited. So the myrrh really connects us with that feminine, the divine feminine energy, and is very calming, soothing, and nurturing. It helps restore our emotions. It helps restore our skin. It helps with inner guidance. So again, it's beautiful for helping with meditation and whatnot, but really it is wonderful for healing wounds, healing dried, cracked skin. I am a very sensitive, pale girl who gets irritated skin sometimes, and myrrh is my best friend for healing and soothing those things. It actually is so thick. It's like this thick, golden, magical oil that you can just kind of apply it, and it's almost like a liquid band-aid that helps heal your skin. It helps with that cellular renewal, helps reduce wrinkles, calms that mind and body. So it's very calming, soothing, healing, helps with hormones, balancing those hormones. It's wonderful for your thyroid. I use it to support my thyroid challenges that I have. It can help with soothing asthma irritations and calming a cough. So a lot of times when somebody's feeling a little under the weather, I might make a lotion that has a couple different oils in it, and I like to include myrrh and rub that on the chest to support the respiratory. And then it's very helps with our immune system as well. So it boosts our immune, it fights infections, it's reduces inflammation, supports our digestion. It's absolutely magical. So frankincense and myrrh kind of support almost every body system we have. So they were both highly sought after and used for medicine, as well as for holy uses. So now we're going to go on to cassia. So cassia is related to cinnamon. It's just a different form of the plant. And it smells similar to cinnamon, but it has a slightly different aroma to it. It's not quite the same as cinnamon bark, but it has that warm, embracing, spicy aroma. So it was used during ceremonies as well. It was part of that holy anointing blend. It was used to purify and cleanse, and as well as a fragrance for our for clothing back in ancient times. And medicinally, it was used for colds, to help with nausea, colic, all these different things. And it's highly antiseptic, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. So it definitely would be used to fight any, you know, issues that might be coming our way, and to clear the air. Ooh, I noticed I did not I didn't cut a section of the slide. We're still talking about myrrh in one section on this. I apologize. But cassia is a hot oil. So you definitely, that means you want to dilute it with a carrier oil if you're applying it to the skin, because otherwise it could literally burn your skin. It will make your skin hot, red, irritated. So you use a carrier oil. So something like olive oil or sweet almond oil or argan oil, and just dilute it. You just want to make sure it's a natural oil that's cold pressed and organic. So you're not getting any chemicals, but it will make beautiful blends for your skin. But you can also diffuse it. So diffusing it, it will help purify and cleanse the air. You could use it in cleaning for its antiseptic properties. A lot of people use it in cooking. Again, like one teeny tiny drop is going to really flavor things. So it's very economical. And it has that warm, sweet aroma that's going to really nourish and help you feel comforted. And then emotionally, it can really help with that negative self-talk and boost our self-assurance, and joy and creativity. So that's pretty cool. Now cinnamon is very similar to cassia. They actually just come from different parts of the plants, and cassia is actually a lesser oil. It's less expensive than the cinnamon bark. So they're similar, but they have very different healing properties. The cinnamon bark is very powerful. Again, it was part of the holy anointing blend. It is one of the most ancient spices that was used and highly used in Chinese medicine. It was used and prescribed in just about every remedy they had, because it is so powerful. It's an incredible oil. It would be used to cleanse the air and kill mold and bacteria, and definitely in medicinal ways, as well as for that beautiful perfume. Cinnamon definitely helps us overcome our obstacles and embrace our passions. So when you're feeling a little blocked or stuck, if you diffuse the cinnamon, that aroma is going to help boost your creative juices. That warm, embracing aroma is going to just feed you with wonderful ideas that might help you expand your ideas and ignite those passions and energies. And the passion can be romantic passion, but it can also be that creative passion, that business, whatever. If you're an entrepreneur and you need a little like get over a block, this might be an oil that you want to lean on. So it's very healing and supports our immune system so much. Yeah, it is look at the list of healing properties: antibacterial, antidepressant, antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It's an antioxidant. It's antiparasitic, antiseptic, antispasmodic, antiviral, immune stimulant, purifier, and then that sexual stimulant. So it's like it does all the things. So it's pretty powerful. And as you can see, you can understand why in China it was used so much as a remedy. If something's ailing you, cinnamon bark, right? Cedar wood. So I love cedar wood. It is very earthy. It has this woodsy, if you've ever been in like had a cedar chest for sweaters or a cedar lined closet, you know that smell. It's that the smell of the wood, and it is very grounding, very earthy, very centering. So cedar woods, it is solidarity, simplicity, it's community, and it's a grounded strength. So it really helps you feel at home. Interestingly, King Solomon used cedar wood to build God's temple, so the church. Jesus was crucified on a cross of either cedar wood or cypress. They're not quite sure. It was used because they thought it brought wisdom, and it was used in rituals for cleansing. Medicinally, it was used to treat skin conditions as well as leprosy, because it is very calming, very healing, very soothing. It's antifungal, anti-infectious, antiseptic, and a astringent. It's wonderful for supporting our nervous and respiratory systems. So it's going to support our breathing. So if you're not feeling well, diffusing it can really support that. But also if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling anxious, it's going to ground, it's going to center you, it's going to help calm and soothe you. It's also a great insect repellent. So in a lot of recipes for keeping insects away, it's often used. Wonderful for using in yoga. It really calms your mind and body and helps you balance your emotions and find that center. And then emotionally, yeah, it can help you build a connection with community and helps you release judgment, so that you can embrace others. So this is a really cool oil. Spikenard is definitely one of the coolest oils and one of the most important oils that we could talk about, really. It was used so many times in biblical times, in the Bible. It was considered a very expensive perfume, but it was also used in medicine. It was used to anoint with, they used it in anointing, but within many religions going back to ancient Egypt. Mary Magdalene anointed Jesus with it, kind of to honor his mission to earth, as well as they used it to anoint Jesus during the Last Supper. And then they used a lotion of myrrh and spikenard to apply to his wounds after he had died, because they used the ointments and certain anointing oils around death. So this is one that definitely was used at that time, but it was also it was used just in so many ways. It's been said that spikenard grew at the gates of the Garden of Evil, Garden of Evil of Eden. Oh my goodness, that was a slip. And spikenard has a messaging of honoring your divinity. So, when it comes to that spiritual realm of honoring and embracing who you are and your divine gifts and what you have to bring to the world, with love and with gratitude, this is an oil that is really going to help. It's very grounding, very soothing, and very healing. It's used as a deodorant. It's really great for that. Helps soothe and heal skin, especially irritated rashes and things. It helps fight signs of aging and renewing of the skin. It's very calming and soothing to the mind. And it's just an incredible oil as well. So I love the meaning of it emotionally, as well as how you can use it. And then sandalwood. Sandalwood is a spicy, beautiful, magnificent oil that when you smell it, you get taken to another place. It's amazing. So the words, the spiritual kind of words are, mutuality, emergence, divine inspiration. It gives you the gift of alignment. And the affirmation is, I align with divine miracles. I love that, because when you use sandalwood, it is so grounding. It is so wonderful for meditation and calming that mind and helping you get into that connection. So wonderful in meditation, wonderful in yoga and prayer, and making that connection. So this is another one that was used throughout the ages, in all different faiths. And in scripture, it was referred to as aloes. Have not figured out why, but it was. And beyond using it for that connection and for that meditative prayer state, it also was beautiful, and considered a oil of joy and gladness. So along with frankincense, myrrh, and cedarwood. So very interesting that those are the oils that helped bring joy and gladness as well. And it was brought and used, when they buried Jesus. They used sandalwood and myrrh. It was also used as the holy anointing oil that Moses used. So I thought that was kind of cool. And definitely as a perfume and for skin health. So as you can see, it's an antidepressant, it's antiseptic. It's also an aphrodisiac. It has that very alluring aroma to it, and an astringent. So it helps support our cardiovascular system. It helps improve our circulation, supports our nervous system, can ease nerves and nervous tension, supports our bones and muscles. It can actually help regenerate bone cartilage, and soothe coughs and reduce cysts and all sorts of amazing cool things. So there's many ways to use sandalwood, and yeah, it's a very powerful one. And then cypress. Cypress is a beautiful oil. It's one of my other favorites. It's from the cypress tree, which is a pine, or not a pine, but it's in that sort of family. It is about cycles, transitions, liberation. It's the gift of flow. And its affirmation is, I embrace evolution and change. So in the Bible, it was a symbol of strength, security, and prosperity. Actually, Noah built an ark out of cypress wood, which I thought was really kind of cool. The cypress is a reminder of grief and loss, but also that ever-changing nature of life. And that is something that goes across all different faiths and religions. And so oftentimes, going back to ancient times, it was planted near cemeteries. So it would remind people of, you'd see the trees, you'd think of your past family members and remember them. In Egypt, they built the sarcophagi for the mummies out of cypress wood. and the oil of the wood helped preserve and prevent that decomposition, along with all the other things they did. You know, I forgot to mention it, but myrrh was used as an embalming oil as well. So that was used all the way back to ancient Egypt as well. And they used it for a very long time. Many cultures did. So that's a really cool. And then the pharaohs used it as an astringent, so to cleanse their skin, and as a decongestant. So I thought that was very, very neat. It is a very grounding, centering, securing. It creates that secure environment for you. And it helps with that grieving process. So, you know, like they plant the trees by the cemetery, but it also really helps when you smell that oil. It's going to help you release and grieve. It's going to help you accept those different stages of life and how we get through them. And it helps us connect with spirits and the spirits that have passed, so that you can honor them, and work through any maybe emotions that you might have to work through as well. Um, and then we can also use cypress to help us move through any stagnation in our lives. So if we need to grow and evolve and flow into that evolution of change within our life, this is an oil to definitely call upon. It is a beautiful, beautiful oil. It is antibacterial, anti-infectious, antimicrobial, antiseptic, and an astringent. So really helps support that immune system, helps support our cardiovascular, as well as the bone and muscular system. So this is a really cool one. And then lemongrass. So lemongrass is an interesting oil. Goes back to very ancient times. It has a very sharp, clean aroma, sort of lemony, sort of planty. Um, and especially, well, Egypt, it grew naturally in Egypt, but it also grew in the Middle East, in Asia, and Australia. And so all of these cultures, all way back to ancient times, used it medicinally. It was used in a wine concoction, that in Egypt, along with calamus and spikenard, cinnamon, cardamom, saffron, ginger, and some other herbs. And that was supposed to help kind of relax and cleanse and purify our bodies. It was used in anointing, and then also used for perfume and skincare. This one is considered, it's called sweetgrass or calamus in the Bible, or sweet cane, I'm sorry. And it looks like a sword. So like, it really helps when you think of it emotionally. It helps you cut through the things that no longer serve you. It helps you purify and detoxify your mind and your body. So it's very powerful. It cleanses, purifies the air when it's diffused, as well as our bodies when we use it topically. It was often used in a lot of things that would help reduce fever. So it was called the fever grass by a lot of cultures. And a lot of these cultures made what was called a fever tea, which would have lemongrass in it, which would help with fevers, but also soothes diarrhea, irregular menstruation, stomach aches, skin infections, all sorts of things. It's very uplifting and brightening and balancing, can soothe the nerves. And then I love this. I learned this years ago, that a lot of people consider it lightning in the bottle because it really energizes the body, and it helps so many of the different systems, but it also helps kind of magnify other oils. So it's a very interesting oil to use. And it's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, inflammatory, antiseptic. It's a bit of a sedative, so it's kind of also calming, and a vasodilator. So again, that's where that lightning in a bottle thing comes in. It dilates our blood vessels, so things flow better and everything gets cleaned out easier. So that's why it's so purifying. Now, all the oils I just talked about are all ones that you definitely found in the Bible, in the Torah, as well as many other traditions. Now, I'm going to share with you 2 more oils that and there's so many I could talk about because pretty much all of these oils are ancient. It's just a matter of like, what do we want to talk about today? But I'm bringing on 2 more that I just think are super interesting and a little different. So, turmeric, we're going to talk about turmeric because a lot of people actually think that the gold that was given to baby Jesus was actually turmeric because it was more valuable again than gold in its time because it had such healing properties. Um it is an incredible oil. It's considered sacred by Hinduism. It was used in clothes dyeing, coloring the clothes because it has that gold, rich gold color. I mean, if you touch turmeric when you're cooking, it's gonna make your fingers yellow. So it dyes clothes easily. It's quite nice for that. Um, and as far as medicine was concerned in the ancient times, I mean, they used it to heal infections, dress wounds, treat bites, soothe burns, ease digestion, um, and treat skin issues and all sorts of different things. If you look up turmeric in PubMed, which is a website I love to go to find scientific articles, you will find over 7,000 articles of research just on turmeric, the spice. And if you specifically look up turmeric essential oil, you'll find over 330 studies just on the oil. So it's pretty amazing. There's a lot of studying, a lot of information out there, and there's like over 400 uses medicinally for using turmeric and turmeric oil. It helps with, it's an anti-inflammatory, it's antibacterial, it's an antioxidant, and it really supports our digestion. So there's so many different ways it can help heal and help our bodies. But emotionally, it's also very grounding and brings you down to earth. So it helps us build those deeper relationships. And I love that its affirmation is, my light shines through the darkness of the world. Um, and it helps us see acceptance with others, but and really see their core human as who they are versus, and like look at our similarities versus our differences. But it also helps us have a little self-acceptance as well. So it's kind of a beautiful oil, both emotionally as well as medicinally. Again, it's an anti-inflammatory, so it's going to help reduce and soothe inflammation and pain. So it will help with easing joint pain. It wonderful for boosting skin health, especially if you've got acne. It's going to calm, soothe, reduce the inflammation and the outbreaks. Aids digestion, soothes nausea, and then helps us balance those emotions and our nerves. So it is a really cool oil, and I love using it. It's a little different though. And then finally, the last one is blue lotus. So blue lotus, and oh my goodness, I put the wrong bottle on that, but blue lotus is one that goes back to very ancient times. It is a hypnotically beautiful floral. You can now get it in a roller bottle from doTERRA as well, like this, or a 5 milliliter bottle. So these bottles are 15 mil, so it'd be a slightly smaller bottle. They we are the only company that actually makes a completely pure blue lotus. Like everything else out there is synthetic, because it is so hard to make a sustainable batch that is going to keep and even just to make a batch that's big enough to fill a 5 milliliter bottle, it's very hard. But it goes back to ancient times. Egyptians, Indians, Mayans, Buddhists, they all used Blue Lotus in religious ceremony and sacred rituals. It was considered sacred by the Egyptians and was a symbol of purity, of spiritual life. They used it for bathing and soaking because it was very beautiful. They use it as a plant that helped with meditation, and that, again, that ability to really concentrate and even have that connection, but also to have these incredible dreams. So it's a very powerful oil. In meditation, it's also helps connect you with your third eye, which is that like seeing things, and the crown chakra. So very powerful oil. And then it was used to anoint at birth and the coronations and death. It was also used as a perfume. This one is really associated with rebirth, enlightenment, and that spiritual awakening and the cycle of life and death. So it was considered very sacred. If you look at the picture of the flower, the center of it looks like a sun, and then it's got those beautiful blue leaves coming out. So it has to do with creation and the afterlife. So it's like that birth and death. The Egyptians also looked at it that it was a symbol of our spiritual life, because the flower, the roots are in the water and the flower floats above in the sunlight. And so it was like a symbol of the man's soul rising above the earth. I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful vision. And it has so many beautiful benefits for our body that it was celebrated in Egyptian culture, like everyday life used it, but also in the arts and in ceremonies. So actually in some Egyptian art, you can see pictures where they are using Blue Lotus, and the petals were actually part of the burial garlands that were put in King Tut's sarcophagus. And they found them, after, once they found his sarcophagus, which is so cool that we can say that, because again, the Egyptians had that amazing ability to save, like to make things so that you could they're still there. They're preserved. That's the word I'm looking for. It is beautiful and moisturizing. It is a natural humectant, which means it pulls in moisture from the air to moisturize your skin. So using it topically, amazing. It helps heal scars and wounds. It's very balancing for our hormones, and it's very calming to the mind and body. And so you'll find it very peaceful and tranquil, and helps that create that serenity. So wonderful for yoga, meditation, for sleep, and helping with our dreams. So this is a really unique and different oil, but it is so interesting. And when I think about all these oils, like I said, the different affirmations and the different gifts that they bring, I feel like they really do relate. There's there's a theme to all of it, and it's quite beautiful. So I wanted to thank you for joining me today. In a minute, we'll go to opening it so you can ask questions. I do want to share, if you are a doTERRA customer, or if you're not one yet and want to be one, this month you can actually get frankincense for free as a special if you spend 200 PV, which is about $200 in essential oils. But the beauty of using oils is you get me as your wellness advocate, and I guide you along the way. I can help you. And no matter what, if you're interested, you could connect with me and just do a free wellness consultation to just learn a little bit more. We can talk about your top health concerns or skin concerns as well, being a esthetician, and how we can use oils and natural solutions to help, you know, set goals to reach those and improve your lifestyle, shall we say. And then I can even help you get some oils if you don't already have some. So this is my contact information. Take a little screenshot. My email, my link tree has all the links to everything. So you can even just learn more from like my blog and my videos. But I would love to connect and help you. All right. I am going to